I wrote a little something. If there were one person who took every opportunity to prey on bike shops and choke out the bike industry, would you ever call them on it? Or would you just sit back and let cycling go to shit? I'm the Not So Slim Shady, and today we're going to discuss just that. Welcome back to Evo 1. I know it's been a minute since I posted a video, and I want to go ahead and apologize for that. I've been extremely busy getting Evo 1 Industries off the ground, and with that, I was presented a whole new series of challenges that quite honestly opened my eyes up to a lot of the things that happen in the bike industry that literally nobody else has talked about. And I think for good reason. Because by discussing what I'm about to discuss, it essentially shoots myself in the foot at any opportunity to get on retail shelves, get into bike shops. Now, I want to go ahead and discuss this because I'm kind of tired of being choked out by it. I'm tired of anybody I talk to saying, hey, this is how it's going to work. We want this, this, and this. And if not, good luck. And I just don't feel right being held over a fucking barrel like that. So I woke up this morning, I said, it, and I'm going to tell you all about it. Before we get too far in the weeds here, I want us to go ahead and take a second and drop down below in the comment section and literally just type a one sentence description of what the hell you think a distributor actually is. And then I'm going to take that, crumple it up, because I guarantee you only like probably 1% of you are actually right. You would logically think a distributor, you approach them with a gizmo, a gadget, a doodad, and you say, hey, go sell it to a bike shop. For everyone you sell, I'll give you 10, maybe even 20%, right? Average commission structure. When in fact, the reality is, a distributor nowadays is not your door-to-door salesman carrying a briefcase full of your products. Your distributor nowadays is a Amazon-esque, multi-warehouse across the nation platform that bike shops use their software to order parts and components and work with brands, and they want 65 points of margin. Let that sink in, and the moment that you come to the same realization that that is the exact reason why shit is so expensive now, so let's run through a quick little scenario here. Have you ever gone into your local bike shop and said, hey, I don't see this tire on the shelf, but I would love to order one. Maybe you have one in the back, and they hop on their computer, and after a minute or two, they tell you, well, we don't have one in stock here, but we do have one in the warehouse. It can be here tomorrow or in 3 days. Have you ever just said, sure, okay, they order the tire, but have you ever thought to yourself, your local bike shop, who, let's be honest, is probably not killing it financially, do you really think that they have another location where, one, they pay rent or own that property, right? And property taxes, all that other crap. And two, do you think that they actually are spending a bunch of money to buy parts at wholesale, store them in the hopes that somebody's going to come in and buy them before they rot on the shelf? Yeah, I felt really dumb whenever I came to that same realization. However, that is kind of the trade-off and why the whole traveling salesman 10-20% commission structure has died, is because there is a good benefit for the bike shops to work with these distributors because they don't have to spend all the money up front and actually be good at selecting products to go on their shelves. They just have to go to that distributor and say, yeah, we're not going to make as much money, but we're also not out and risking a bunch of money. But then that's why these distributors grew so big. Because essentially they're allowing this nice little safety net for bike shops to say, well, yeah, we don't want to stock a bunch of parts because that's expensive and, well, we really don't know what people want. So they have to do no market research. The distributors can essentially come in and say, hey, here's what you need on the shelves. It's kind of general and rough. And that's also why now when you walk into a bike shop, the shelves really do kind of look the same, right? You can kind of tell who is actually working with what distributor. I almost said controlled by, but that would not be politically correct. But you can really tell, right, by what brands they carry, whether it's a Maxxis or a Vittoria or whatever, a tire on their shelves. And that really makes it transparent, but then again, it allows these bike shops to operate with far less capital and far less risk, but it really hurts small brands who don't have all of this margin to give up And then you've got this person in the middle making 60 to 65 points just to kind of be that safety net warehouse logistic roadblock for everyone. So now we really wonder why parts have gotten so expensive, why everything got overinflated. That's really the reason, because think about it. If you took that 65% or 65 points and you said, let's bring that back down to traveling salesman stats to 20 or 10, prices would kind of like drop by like 40%. Yeah. And before I get eviscerated in the comments section for bringing this forth and somebody gives me the whole pitch on distributors exist to bridge the gap between consumers, brands, and bike shops, I've heard the fucking pitch, I get it. However, it really begs the question, whenever you see bike shops come out and say, direct to consumer is killing the industry, it's the worst, it's putting us out of business, think about this. Direct to consumer brands, you are 100% in charge of your own thing. You conduct your own market research. You figure out what people want in the first place. Then you figure out where to sell it, who to sell it to, how to target them, how to get an ad out to them, and then how to convert them into a customer, right? It's a whole process, but you're 100% in charge of that. It's very uncomfortable. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of people involved. It's a lot of effort, right? So you should be rewarded and make more money for putting in more effort, logically. Now, then you think about bike shops. The way it used to be is you had all these different brands that would come in and pitch to you, maybe even distributors, traveling salesmen again. They would come in and pitch to you, you took the risk on them, and if something didn't sell, you were just out the money that you paid for it. It is what it is. That's called market research. Now, on the other hand, now you've got bike shops that a big distributor can come in and say, hey, we carry all of this stuff based on your market and other shops around you that we cater to. These are the brands you should stock. This is how much you should stock of it. You know, aren't going to have to make phone calls every day. You've got a really nice ordering system. You can just go on, see how much we have and how long it would take to get here. Really, really cool, really convenient. You don't have to have as many employees on staff. Because that's a full-time job. Marketing, market research, stocking parts, talking to vendors. That is 1 to 2 full-time staff members, okay? So then those bike shops said, yeah, we're not going to make near as much money, but then we don't have to pay somebody to sit there and actually do all this work. And now we have access to all this stuff, and it makes it really easy and really comfortable. So they decided, okay, cool, distributors, let's crawl into bed, get cozy, and we'll be Little Spoon for a while so we can get off the ground quicker and operate a little bit leaner. But at the same time, then does that give them the right to then talk shit and say, hey, you who's bootstrapping the whole thing, you suck? Well, you just didn't want to get uncomfortable. So who's right and who's really wrong? And does it really validate them to then be upset about direct-to-consumer? Because direct-to-consumer exists because they opened the door and let this big old fat cat giant grow into this monstrosity that now pretty much has a monopoly on the entire industry and what brands get to succeed and live. So look, I'm fully aware that after sharing this, no distributor is ever going to want to touch my product, and I'm quite okay with that because I'm not going to go out there, bake in more cost and margin just to accommodate somebody who, quite honestly, is taking advantage of not only the consumers, but the bike shops as well. That's just not cool. And I want to keep my promise here on YouTube and just share with you what the industry's like on the inside. That's literally why I started this channel. Now, if y'all could also do me a favor and go check out some of those EVA 1 products. We've got our waterless wash as well as our ceramic spray. I would greatly appreciate it. And if not, at least leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about all of this. As always, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next video.